Okay, just checking.
Yeah, no problem.
Hmm. Okay, we're on.
We're on. Okay, amazing.
Yes. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to Techies 15 Live. This is the 15-minute weekly podcast by Immigrant Techies Network. It's our way of staying in touch with the community you can consider it your weekly water cooler moment that's happening virtually. We like to bring guests, people that are building solutions or contributing to the community one way or the other. So we always have cool people as our guests. And our cool person today is Sarah Mateshaytis. Thanks, Sarah, for joining us.
Thanks, Wunmi. Happy to be here. You did, that was
Yeah.
excellent, excellent pronunciation.
Yeah. So I was practicing just before we
Yeah.
came up here to practicing the last name. I wanted to be sure to say it well. So yeah, thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, thank
Uh,
you for
so,
having
so,
me.
so Sarah is here as one of the founders at Collectively Tangled. And we're just gonna hear a little bit more about you, Sarah, and a little bit more about Collectively Tangled as well.
Yeah, sure. So for folks who don't know about us, at Collectively Tangled, we provide therapy and mental health services specific for entrepreneurs. Because we know that entrepreneurs experience mental health challenges at greater rates than the general population. So it's very much our goal to make mental health services for entrepreneurs both a business priority and accessible to folks. Um,
Mhm.
so I'm,
How about a little bit about yourself
yeah,
first? Just
yeah,
a
sure.
little about you. What's your background and what was the journey like before
Mm,
Collectively Tangled? Yeah.
yeah. So I'm a registered social worker, so I've worked in the mental health space for, I don't know, last decade or so, and in a bunch of different settings. Um, and was always very sort of excited about the prospect of systems change, of sort of shaking things up and trying to do things a little bit differently.
Mhm.
And so perhaps quite ambitiously, myself and my co-founder Kira started Collectively Tangled a few years ago. Kira's also a registered social worker as well. Um, in the last year, we brought on Jen McDonald to join us as a partner. Jen's been really involved in the ecosystem, building out programs for entrepreneurs. So, um, yeah, we're excited about the work that we're doing and
Mhm.
excited about hopefully supporting entrepreneurs in the very challenging work that they do to, yeah, to better take care of themselves so that they can be more successful in their businesses and in their ventures, in their
Mhm.
startups.
What's in the name? How did you arrive at
Ah, yeah,
the
yeah, that's a great that's a great question. Sometimes I think it's a bit of a mouthful for folks, but there's a few things there. So I think part of it is that just this acknowledgement that as I mean, as entrepreneurs, as humans,
we're in this together?
oh yes, we are absolutely in this together. And
Mm.
I think sometimes for entrepreneurs, um, and I know this because I have the very meta experience of both working to support entrepreneurs and also being an entrepreneur myself. But sometimes the journey can be really lonely. And so, yeah, this acknowledgement that you aren't alone, we are all in this
Mhm.
together. This is sort of a collective journey, is a part of it. There's also a piece too where, our we often talk about our work life and our personal life as sort of two separate
Mhm.
things, but how we are doing at work impacts how we're doing personally. It impacts our mental health
Yeah,
in the same way that
absolutely.
how our mental health impacts how we're doing at work. And that's the case whether you are trying to build or grow your own business, or you're, working for someone else's organization. The two are deeply connected and intertwined.
Mhm.
And so that's sort of a big part of the advocacy that we do is really trying to help people see that your mental health and your work are deeply interconnected. And so it's really important as we, navigate these very often challenging entrepreneurial
Mhm.
journeys,
Mhm.
that we're focusing on both.
Right, right. So in your practice, what do you see that stands out peculiar to entrepreneurs?
Mm,
So what's different between regular therapy, regular individual therapy, and entrepreneur therapy? What things are you finding
yes.
that a regular therapy session wouldn't have covered, but your service, you're able to be that for entrepreneurs?
Totally. Great question. So I feel like I can probably answer this in a few different ways. I think so
Mm,
the first way that I will answer it to say, okay, so how is like the services that we provide for entrepreneurs, how is that different than, other experiences in therapy? And I would say that the biggest piece is that the therapists on our team really know and understand the entrepreneurial journey.
mm,
As an entrepreneur,
mm,
you don't have to come into a session and explain what it means and the impact that it might have if, say, you have, limited runway and 3 months left. Like our therapists get it, and so they really can meet you where they're at. Um, so that's a big part of sort of how we see ourselves as being different and like really being able to
mm,
sort of understand the entrepreneurial journey. I think when it comes to the actual work itself, um, there are absolutely sort of common themes that show up for the entrepreneurs that we support and that we work with. That's not to say that they wouldn't show up for either individuals who don't identify as an entrepreneur, but there definitely are
mm.
themes. Um,
Yeah,
I would say that some of the biggest ones, or honestly, probably like the biggest one, is sort of that almost the interconnectedness of that we talked about, sort of your personal and professional,
mm-hmm.
recognizing that for entrepreneurs, entrepreneurship takes up a lot of space, right? It
Yeah,
takes a lot of time, it takes up a lot of energy. And so a lot of folks come to us because they are struggling trying to navigate, you know, their they're wearing their entrepreneurial hat, but also acknowledging that they have
yeah,
a
families.
yes, yeah, like all of the other roles that they play in that they have in their
Mm-hmm.
lives, right? They are mothers, fathers, spouses, daughters, sons, friends, like there
Mm-hmm.
are
Mm-hmm.
becoming an entrepreneur doesn't mean that you stop being a human and stop doing
Being all
anything.
of that. Yeah, yeah.
And so I think that the sort of figuring out how to juggle and manage that in a way that is sustainable. And I would say
Mm-hmm.
that the like sustainable piece is key because a lot of times folks might be managing it in one way or another, and they might be able to do it for now, but they recognize that it's not a sustainable way to live their life.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes we need, yes, like an additional perspective, but also some different tools and strategies to figure out, okay, how do I do all of these things? How do I learn to prioritize a little bit differently? How do I
Mm-hmm.
know what to pick up, what to put
How do
down?
I
Right.
activate the community I have?
1000 yes, the community like this one here.
Mm,
Totally. And like what are the supports that I have? Who can I lean on? How can I ask for help?
mm.
How can I get comfortable acknowledging that I need help and that
Oh.
asking for help and seeking help and turning to your community, turning to your team is not a sign of weakness, is actually, takes a lot of
Mm-hmm.
bravery and is
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of strength in doing that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I like what you said earlier that even all your therapists understand the journey of an
Mm,
entrepreneur because a lot of the times it's the not knowing if people will get it
yeah.
that keeps people from opening up to begin with. But if you know that, oh, you can go to a therapy session to go talk about co-founder dynamics,
Mm,
right? Like,
mhm.
like
Totally.
stuff that
Totally.
may not show up, and then
Yeah.
they can talk, they understand all the some of the entrepreneurship specific jargons, and your therapist gets that. That's huge. Do you have any stories around that where I mean, of course, we can share people's stories, but I don't mean personal stories, but just how that has materialized where specific, uniquely entrepreneurship kind of problems were
Mhm.
solved in ways that are dynamic, that would have been different from regular therapy?
Yeah, great question. I think so. I mean, the co-founder piece. So that's something that we actually we offer at Collectively Tangled because we realized there was a
Mm,
huge sort of gap. And
yeah.
a lot of the folks that we connected with in a lot of the conversations that we were having, both in like in the within the therapy context and therapy sessions, but also outside of that, just engaging with the community. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the co-founder relationship is a very challenging one and not one that I think
Mm-hmm.
that we necessarily talk enough about. It's essentially your marriage at work.
Yeah.
And depending on, the foundation that you have with the individuals that you have, come into this agreement with, um, sometimes they go really well. Sometimes there's bumps in the road. And if there are bumps in the road,
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense. That's super normal because, um, like any relationships, they take work. But just creating some space where people can explore that relationship, where they can work on, skills and strategies to improve that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Communication is often um, is at sort of the core of some of those challenges that show up in the co-founder relationship, um, as well as sort of expectations and like have those
Yeah.
expectations been communicated? Is there alignment? Is there not? Um, so I would say that, yeah, I think that that's a fairly unique thing that we offer,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, recognizing that there is a need. We sort of like to say, sometimes I say like, it's essentially couples counseling, but with you as
Yeah.
a partner, right? But very
True.
like it's very similar sort of tools and skills that are required,
Right, right.
in terms of navigating that relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's switch gears a little
Okay.
bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, so many of our audience are immigrant profiles that are sometimes pivoting to tech, or they're in tech already, or just, trying to optimize their careers as a whole. And one of the things we say is that whatever industry
Hmm.
you were before you're trying to get into tech, it's your leverage, because it's
Mm-hmm.
something you already understand. And every industry, every vertical is being disrupted by one technology or the other. So it takes those who understand how things already work to
Hmm.
be the disruptors, to be the ones that can manage, transformation and all of that. So how would you say your own domain experience as a social worker
Mm.
has helped you now as an entrepreneur, catering to tech founders and other kinds of entrepreneurs? So how did that background prepare you for the disruption?
Mm. Oh, that's a cool question, me. I like that. Um, I also like this idea of disruption. I think that like that's very much what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of disrupt the status quo, disrupt the way that people have this sort of hustle and grind culture, the way that people have traditionally thought about entrepreneurship, and this idea
Mm-hmm.
that, yeah, burnout is a badge of honor that we should wear proudly. Um, when really there are far more effective ways to navigate this journey.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I love that question. I think that honestly, if I wasn't a social worker, if I hadn't worked in this space, if I hadn't had the training that I have, I don't think I would be here because it's, there are many parts of social work that I really like. I think it's a very interesting field because it is very multifaceted. You can do a lot with social work training. Um, but what I really like is that I think that we do a good job of taking a step back, looking at the situation, looking at the systems that are in place, um, sort of picking them up and analyzing, okay, what's working, what's not, where are their holes, where are their gaps, and how can we do things differently to shift or change that system so that it benefits people more. Um, and so I think, yeah, I mean, I met my co-founder Kira in our Masters of Social Work program. So I very much would
Mm-hmm.
not be where I am today if it wasn't for that degree in training. I think that I'm grateful that for that experience. I'm also thrilled for the many other, with the many other hats that I wear now as an
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like I've sort of found my niche and my groove where I can take all of the things that, I love about social work, but apply them to this new context.
And usually is the things is that gap that irks you
Mm,
that you tend to solve for, right?
totally.
And,
Yeah.
and yes, and how would you see the gap if you're not in the system?
Hmm.
Because usually, most times, entrepreneurs, you come up with a solution to close some gap, to solve a problem. It's because you've been in that system long enough to notice it.
Hmm.
So I just like how that happens over and over. So many entrepreneur stories I've heard that came from maybe a personal experience or an observation, something that just somebody just dares to ask, is there another way? And then they step off, right?
Is it possible to do things different?
Yeah.
And I'm
How
here.
might
I'm here to say,
we?
I'm here to say that it is. It is possible.
Yeah.
You don't have to burn out in the process of building a business. There are other
Hmm.
ways to go about it.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. We try to keep to time. So what's anything you would like to say that I have not asked and how you people can get in touch with you or
Yeah,
learn more about Collectively Tangled if they want to?
sure. Yeah, I mean, I could have this conversation. I could keep talking to you all day, Wunmi,
I
but
know, right?
yeah, if folks want to reach out, they can connect with us on LinkedIn. They can visit our website, which is collectivelytangled.com. We provide therapy for entrepreneurs, individuals, and co-founders. If folks do have access to extended healthcare benefits, all of our therapists have credentials, and so they can submit and put that through their benefits for reimbursement. If you're sort of unsure if this is the right path forward for you, we offer a free 15-minute consultation with any of our therapists. We know that that relationship is so key in terms of the therapeutic
Mm,
context. So would absolutely encourage folks, if you're curious, book a free consultation, get a sense of what this might look like for you, if a therapist might be the right fit for you. Um, we see therapy as a tool for growth for entrepreneurs. And so we're just here to support folks on their journey.
awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah, for
Thanks,
being here.
Wunmi.
But just one last question. How
Yeah.
how has the uptake been like in the community, especially in the tech community? I'll be curious.
Yeah, no, great question. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we work with individuals. We also work with capacity building organizations that provide programming and
Go
services
for it. Mm-hmm,
to
mm-hmm,
entrepreneurs. So we sort of have both buckets that we work within. I think that there has been a lot of increased conversation, a lot more buzz
mm-hmm.
around mental health. People are far more willing to acknowledge it within the entrepreneurial space. That said, there absolutely still is stigma. Like the stigma
Yeah.
exists and it is real. And so, I would say that's the thing that we're working the hardest at day in and day out is trying to break down
Mm-hmm.
some of that stigma. Um, and we have had some really awesome advocates in the space, both, individuals and organizations that really see the value in what we're doing, and are willing to, sort of share the message within their communities to say, hey, you know what,
Mm-hmm.
this is something that we know is important. This is something that we value, and this is something that we really encourage the entrepreneurs in our communities to engage in.
Yeah, that's cool. Cool.
Mhm.
And I'm sure it will get better and it will stop that it won't be seen as a mushy thing. We're here
Mm.
trying to gain market entry, looking for traction, and you're talking about soft stuff. So
Yeah.
so that's why I was asking, like particularly in the tech community, like in the place where people go fast,
Hmm.
go-getters, a community of go-getters, do they appreciate stopping to pause to
Hmm.
reassess?
Totally. Well, I
So
think that for
yeah.
for folks in the community, there's often this like misconception that if you go to therapy, it's just about, really like talking about your feelings. When really therapy is it's
Mm,
it's very much skill based. There are tangible tools and strategies that you can learn. that you do learn with your therapist to support you in doing things differently. So I think
Yeah.
that's an important takeaway for folks to know. Therapy
For
is not just
sure.
talking about how you feel, it's about learning
Uh-huh.
skills and strategies to do things better so that you can work better for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much,
No
Sarah.
worries. Thank
This was
you.
really good. Thanks everyone for joining us. The video will still be available on LinkedIn for those who are watching later and also on YouTube. Thanks. Thank you. Have a great
Thanks.
rest of your
Bye.
Tuesday. Bye, Sarah.